All right, let me jump right in here to Senator Dave McCormick joining us live on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Senator, thank you for making the time today. How are you?
Hey, Rich. How are you, my friend?
Great, doing very well. A lot to chat about. I wanted to get your take. I know that we were to talk about what's going on here in Philadelphia, but the brutal stabbing in North Carolina has got the nation talking, and you've talked a lot about crime, obviously. Did you want to share any thoughts on that?
Well, just what a tragedy. I mean, the fact that we can see that kind of violence amongst us in our cities is just evidence of the need for strong leadership to bring law and order. And that's happening in Washington right now with the National Guard. I live in Washington part of the week, and I can see a radical difference when leaders stand up and enforce it. The second thing I say is the media presentation of this. The fact that it wasn't presented as the tragedy it was, the unthinkable, is just as further evidence that, most people aren't getting the full story of what's going wrong with America. The media is very biased, and we need to fix it.
Yeah, well said, well said. I saw you were at the Rose Garden Club the other night with the president. The Rose Garden Club, the inaugural dinner, and you got the big invite. That's pretty cool.
I got the invite, and I sat next to the president. It's probably 108 people there, and it was tables of 4. So I ended up sitting next to the president. He invited me to sit with him, and it was incredible. First of all, it's beautiful. Any talk of destroying the Rose Garden was completely not true. Every rose bush is intact. Essentially what he did is he put beautiful stone where the wet, soggy grass used to be. So if you're a woman, your heels don't punch through it, and put in a great speaker system. And so it was like a perfect night. The autumn moon, him welcoming his guests to the inaugural night. And, we had a chance to chat a bit. And the main thing we talked about was just the progress on delivering on the promises that the president made on the campaign trail and I made. And you and I have talked about, but great things are happening in Pennsylvania with the energy summit, with the Nippon U.S. Steel deal, with Hanwha, investing $5 billion in the Philly Shipyard, 5,000 new jobs. The number one thing that I promised was we're going to do everything we can to create jobs for working families, and that's what's happening. One of many things that's happening under the Trump administration, and I like to believe that I'm helping a lot in Pennsylvania to make sure that happens here.
Well, you certainly are right here in the Philly Shipyard, Senator McCormick. Let's talk about that and that big investment and what it's going to mean for our area.
Well, it's just, first of all, you got to start with the problem. The problem is that the United States only has about 3% of global shipbuilding at a time when the world's becoming a more dangerous place, where we need, China's in the South China Sea, where we need LNG export capability, where our Navy is overmatched by China. We need to build new ships, and we don't have the ability in the United States. And what happened just earlier, I guess it was last December, was Hanwha, a big Korean shipbuilder, made an investment and bought the Philly Shipyard. And they bought it for $100 million. I visited that 3 or 4 times. I took the CEO to visit Secretary Hegseth. I visited the shipyard with the Transportation Secretary. And we've been making the case that we need to invest in shipbuilding. I co-sponsored the SHIPS Act. And sure enough, Hanwha, as a result of the focus that the administration has brought, has agreed to invest $5 billion. That's 5,000 new jobs in the Philadelphia shipyard. These are welders, pipe fitters, electricians. These jobs are 6-figure jobs. And most important, they're going to go from building a ship and a half per year to 20 ships per year over the next 5 years. This is a huge thing for Southeast Pennsylvania. It's a huge thing for America. And my guess is we will see even more investment in the Philadelphia shipyard. There's another great company down there called Rhodes that builds components for our submarines and some of our ships. I've also visited there. This is a rebirth of shipbuilding in America, and rebuilding our defense capability.
That's what we need. I mean, we really do. And why not, right? I mean, we got this great shipyard. It's right in our backyard. It's Philadelphia. We can reach Europe and the rest of the world faster than other parts in the country when it comes to exporting our liquid natural gas and building ships and everything else. Why not make it the preeminent shipyard in the country?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, the Koreans bring a lot of know-how here. They have one of the biggest shipyards in the world in Korea. And so in America now, we're going to get that next generation technology for our domestic shipbuilding. So, one of the things the president said is we need to bring back manufacturing jobs, but they need to be state of the art technology, next generation manufacturing jobs. That's what these jobs in the Philadelphia shipyard are going to be.
Senator, how concerned should we be about AI taking jobs as we're making all these investments in things like data centers and AI and the energy it's going to power it?
Well, I think the starting point is, first I think it's, we need to talk about the risk and the downsides. But the starting point is the AI energy revolution is happening. It's not like we can avoid it from happening. Right. It's happening around the world. It's a race with us and China for leadership. And I say energy revolution and AI revolution in the same sentence because they're very closely linked. You can't have AI development without energy dominance. You've got to have energy innovation to make it work. And Pennsylvania is unique in its ability to lead the charge in America, help win this battle against China because we have great natural resources, natural gas, nuclear power. We've got great skilled workers. So we're blessed in our ability to kind of meet this need and challenge. But like all change, it's going to be disruptive. The things we need to worry about, we need to make sure that we don't see an uptick in the price of energy that's going to affect consumers. We need to make sure that we maintain clean water. We need to make sure that we manage this development well. The best way to do that is to have lots of energy supply. And it is going to be disruptive to certain types of jobs. And there was an analysis that just came out of Microsoft in the last couple months. I think it shows what I see in Pennsylvania, which I think is actually going to be opportunity and create a lot more blue-collar jobs because of all the energy infrastructure and all the data centers. Those are jobs for people to build those things. You can't do that with AI. And I think the risk in the near term, at least the foreseeable future, is going to be on certain white-collar jobs. These are like lawyers and things like that, where you can imagine how AI could fulfill 80% of the job. I was talking to the CEO of Microsoft recently, Satya Nadella. He told me that AI can now do about 80% of the coding that their software developers used to do. And now their software developers can focus on the 20% that's the most strategic, significant, so forth. For the time being, that doesn't mean they've gotten rid of any software developers. It's meant they're more productive. But you can imagine a time where this is going to take away certain jobs in the white-collar space, and we need to adapt. That's the way it always happens in periods of disruption. We have to adapt.
Senator Dave McCormick is with us. It's great to have him on the show. I was at your energy summit. I appreciated the invitation, and it was a great day. It really was. You are also working very diligently on permitting reform. That's been near and dear to your heart, right?
It really has. And, we honestly didn't have a chance to focus on it here in the Congress until we got through the big, beautiful bill, which was, the starting point because that delivered on so many of the promises that President Trump made and that I made in terms of tax reform and rebuilding the military and securing the border and school choice and so forth. Now this fall, I think we can begin to turn our attention to permitting reform. And I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to be able to, we need 60 votes in the Senate to make that happen. That means we need to get some of our Democrat colleagues on board with it. And I'm optimistic we're going to see some progress on it. We got a lot of work to do. The reason being is I think the politics around energy are changing. Yeah. And I think that's what happened in my election, Rich, when you saw Harris and Casey, they didn't have a clear message on fracking and energy and the importance of it to Pennsylvania and other places. I think that's starting to change, and I'm hoping we can convince 60 of them, or 10 of, I guess not 10, I guess 7 Democratic senators to join our effort. If we can do that, we're going to get some reform through. We also need permitting reform at the state level, and that's something that I continue to encourage the governor and others to do.
And Senator John Fetterman seems to be open to working with you on that, right?
He really has. He's been a great partner. We don't agree on everything. We have lots of differences, but on the things we agree on, he is just a great partner, and that's the fight against anti-Semitism, the need to secure the border, the need to stop the flow of fentanyl, and you're right. He's really become open-minded about energy and the need to find ways to work together to take advantage of that opportunity for Pennsylvania.
I'll tell you, I was with Senator Dave McCormick. I was with a guy who works in the nuclear sector the other day, and he was just thrilled at the president's deregulation around that industry, and also thrilled about the deregulation around natural gas and liquid natural gas export and that ban going away. Both of these things benefit Pennsylvania, but they also benefit the whole country. And as a guy who lives in New Jersey and watching how they got rid of our energy production in New Jersey, and now we have to bring it all in, our energy rates have skyrocketed. We need more supply. We all need it. You're working very hard to bring that to the country.
No doubt about it. I mean, it's by some estimates, our energy demand's going to increase by a factor of 3 in the next 15 years. And it is truly a source of national power to be a net energy exporter. And listen, the former president, President Biden, was just, in my opinion, deeply flawed on recognizing that. And I think President Trump has come in and done all the right things in terms of deregulation and focusing on the energy sector. And you're right, it's all forms of energy. So I'm in favor of everything that supplies energy to our grid and to our national security. I'm just opposed to subsidizing it. So some of the things that were happening with solar and wind, I was opposed to because it was creating inflation and distorting the market. But we need to double down. I was in a coal mine on Friday. We're a big coal producer. We are a huge natural gas producer. We're number 2 in the entire country on energy production in Pennsylvania. We are an energy state, and that puts us in a great position to win this battle. And Rich, I try to talk to my colleagues in Pennsylvania about this. We're in a big fight against China, but we're also in a battle with Tennessee and Virginia and Florida and Georgia, because they're trying to compete for this investment too. And so we got to be smart and make Pennsylvania the most attractive place in the country for this new investment. If we do, Pennsylvania is going to continue to rip on this renaissance we're seeing, which I think is going to be absolutely great for Pennsylvania, and make sure our kids stay in Pennsylvania or come home after college.
Before I let you run, you're chairman of a very important subcommittee in the Senate that deals with foreign relations. And this is also, everything we're talking about right now is a national security imperative, because if we can be supplying Europe and other countries around the world with our natural gas, then they're not buying it from Putin. And that's just, everybody wins with that.
Absolutely. And, listen, it's a critical part of our national security. It's a critical part of our economic future. It is a win-win-win for everybody. And this isn't, in my opinion, a Democratic-Republican issue. This is something that is truly at the core of the Commonwealth's future, and that's why I've been such a big proponent. Oh,
good. Keep up the good work, Senator. It's great to have you back on the show. It's funny, the Rose Garden, I thought about this with the paving. First thing we did when we moved into our old house with the soggy backyard was put pavers down. It's just a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was beautifully done. Beautifully done, as you might imagine. And the president was making a special point. He said, I want to make sure the stone matched the color of the White House so it would be beautiful. It's
and no scratches.
No scratches.
No scratches on that stone.
It looked great. And the renovations are not done. He was describing the ballroom and the east, that's going to be added onto the east wing. Now, one thing that I just want to make sure the listeners know, none of this was with taxpayer dollars. So President Trump's paying for this out of various accounts, monies he's raised, personal monies, the flagpoles, the Rose Garden, the new ballroom. All of this is in the people's house, in the White House, but not paid for by the taxpayer dollars. The president wanted to make sure that it was paid for by other means, which I thought was also a great thing.
Senator Dave McCormick, thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Rich. Good to be with you.